Welcome to episode 14, everyone. In this episode, we are going to be talking about the dreaded Amazon data reporting delay.
Yes, Brett, I don't know if you caught that there, but I was delaying the start of this episode to highlight that this episode is all about delay. Most people think that when you open up your Amazon campaign manager, that what you're looking at is an up-to-the-second snapshot of all the clicks, impressions, and conversions that have happened in your account. However, which is not the truth.
Absolutely.
We're going to talk about that today. So there is a delay inside your Amazon campaign manager. And even before we get to Amazon, this is not a unique system that's only happening in Amazon. Before we did this episode, we actually looked up some of the other platforms that you might be using if you have a standalone e-commerce store as well. Google Analytics has a delay of 24 to 48 hours. Google Ads has an incredibly confusing chart that if you go and you actually type in Google Ads conversion delay, they say it's about 12 hours, and then they have all these different charts of when your data will be posted on Tuesdays or Thursdays, depending on the time zone of your account. Normally, it'll be up to date by 3 a.m. on Wednesdays, depending on if you're in San Francisco or not, and all these crazy things. So the point there is that all of these platforms, including Facebook ads also says that there will be a short delay. They do not give a number inside Facebook ads. If anyone out there was able to find one, we couldn't find one, but it just basically says there's a normal delay for all of these things. And if you think about all the data that's flowing through these systems every single second, you can kind of understand how there might be some kind of processing that needs to happen between a person seeing an ad, clicking on it, and it finally getting sent back to you, viewing it in your campaign manager. So I think the first thing is really just pointing out that there is a delay almost in every single ad platform. And how does it, let's talk about how this changes how we optimize on a day-to-day basis.
Yep. So again, guys, I get questions all the time, people reaching out and saying, oh no, something's gone horribly wrong. I'm looking at my sales from yesterday and nothing's showing up, but it shows that I have a bunch of spend and my ACoS is 400%. Mm-hmm. And the first thing I always bring up is the 48-hour data reporting delay.
I'm getting this vision as you were saying that. I was thinking like you driving down the street, getting pulled over, and like the police officer walking up to you, being like, can you tell me why my results are so bad today? And it's like, well, actually, there's a data delay that we need to factor into this. So there's two things to really know about Amazon's data delay. And there's two things sort of working against you, like trying to get up to the day data. The first is, we've always called it, and it's always been known as a 2-day or 48-hour data delay. And when we actually pulled up the language today, it seems like they maybe quietly updated this. Like I didn't get a notification that they changed this, that it may take up to 12 hours for your sales data to update. As a result, sales data may be delayed in the today date range. We recommend waiting until all sales data is populated before evaluating campaign performance. Payment failures and orders that are canceled within 72 hours will be removed from sales totals. So this is actually completely brand new. So this episode, we weren't planning on revealing any new information, but it actually looks like they've improved on the 48-hour delay, and maybe it's now just a 12-hour delay.
Or they're just telling us that it's 12 hours, and in reality, it could be 48.
Right.
Just as a counter to what they've published here, the thing that you just read, inside of Seller Central, inside of your business reports, if you look at that, you can't access today or yesterday at all. So based on them saying we recommend waiting until all sales data is populated before evaluating campaign performance, that data is not populating, and that's a 48-hour window. So as far as I'm concerned personally, I think it's 48 hours.
Right. How would the campaign manager have data that the business reports don't have yet?
That's the great question of life, isn't it?
That's right. We both just shrugged, in case you're listening. But the point there is, we still, And 12 hours, by the way, is like pretty fast. Like, you know, Google Ads has 12 hours, and they've been in business for, you know, almost 2 decades. Google Analytics has been in business a super long time, and they have a 24 to 48 hour delay. So it's I don't know, it's hard to believe that they just went from 48 hours to 12 hours without telling anyone, announcing it, because this is a big positive change if it's true. Until we get further confirmation, I'm probably not going to operate as if it's just a 12-hour delay. Because I mean, when you look at an Amazon Seller Central campaign manager and you look at like sales per day and you include like the last 30 days, including today, today is normally like 0 sales. Like it's barely anything trickled in. And typically yesterday also has very, very low sales as well. And then this causes a lot of people who don't know about this delay to think that there's something incredibly wrong with their campaigns. Right. In actuality, this is just the normal data delay process.
And it's actually alarming to me how many people aren't fully aware of this or that this even exists. So a lot of the time when I mention that this is even a thing, people are like, whoa, really? Because I've seen some like wonky looking figures inside of my account. So definitely be aware of this, guys.
Yeah, why is my ACoS 300% today, but yesterday it was 30?
Right.
Where did that jump come from? Well, it came from just this normal delay. And if you were to wait 2 days and you look back at the day that you asked this question originally, it'll be back to probably your normal, 30% ACoS, plus or minus for some random variance. But that's generally the way that it works. So this conversion delay, it should be shaping the way that you make optimizations. Meaning you should not be going in, looking at month to date, and then making optimizations based off that. Because let's say it's the 4th of the month and you're doing month to date, you're only looking at 2 days worth of data. And the crazy thing too is that typically clicks and impressions and cost roll in before revenue does. So a lot of the time, like you will see on today and yesterday, your ACoS be totally out of control, really, really high, as opposed to if you were to wait 2 extra days, then your ACoS levels out for the days in question. But there's always sort of this 2-day lag happening.
Right. And just to clarify, this isn't just in the campaign manager. This is all over Amazon. Pretty much everywhere I've seen AMS, Vendor Central, KDP and Merch do it as well, we think. So, be aware of this, guys. If you see any weird reporting numbers out of Amazon, don't freak out right away. Wait 48 hours and then freak out.
The second thing sort of working against us from getting up to the second data is attribution windows or sort of conversion delays between someone clicking on something and then eventually buying either that product from you or another product from you. So, if you download your search term report, you will see things like 7-day conversion rate, 7-day other SKU, 7-day advertised SKU sales. Basically what that means is if somebody clicks on a Monday and then they end up converting on Thursday, not only will you see the cost of that after 2 days at least. So you'll see the cost of that sort of on Wednesday. And then if they convert on Thursday, that means that that conversion will eventually go back and get attributed to the day that the click happened. So what happens a lot is if you're doing month over month analysis or even week over week analysis, you need to take into a conversion delay into that. So if you're looking at your total data for January on February 1st, there's 2 issues. Not only is there a 2-day conversion delay, so you're missing some data from the last 2 days of January, but also there's sort of a 7-day, 14-day, 30-day attribution window that if someone converts from you either on that product that they clicked on or another product, that will eventually go back to January. Even if they end up converting the first week of February, that'll go back and boost your numbers for the month of January if we're in February. So this is another sort of added complexity to the situation.
And to make things even more complicated, you have to also factor in payment failures and orders that are canceled within 72 hours are also removed from sales. So there's basically 3 things that could go that could go wrong there. But yeah, definitely be aware of this, guys. This is super important stuff and just basically one of the fundamentals of PPC, I would say, because without knowing this, you're going to be acting off of a lot of inaccurate and possibly skewed data, which is definitely not what you want to do to your campaigns there.
Right. So the walk away from this is definitely point number one. Step one, like keep calm when looking at the last 48 hours, meaning the day that you're looking at it as well as yesterday, because clicks and spend are probably rolling in first and then it's conversion. So you'll start to get spend data before conversion data. Step one is not to freak out over this, to understand that it's just part of the optimization process. Step two, don't make optimizations based off the last 2 days of data. So we want to be sure that if we're ever optimizing anything, updating bids based off your conversion rate or your revenue per click, you're using data without the last two. This is why we try to, inside of our reports that we produce inside of our tool, it's always 30 days without the last two, last 14 days without the last two. So we're always trying to remove as much as we can, we're trying to remove any conversion delay issues for making good, smart decisions.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a good thing to also consider, is that 48 hours probably isn't enough time to accurately make well-informed changes, unless it's little things like bid optimization or negative keyword optimization. So changes like that should be done on a daily basis. But for bigger changes in the account, while we're talking about waiting out 48 hours, you should probably be waiting a little longer for that, for some of those big, impactful changes. You probably need to analyze about a week or so of data before making anything big, and hopefully more than that.
Right. You want to make your decisions on time frames that have hundreds of clicks, not a few clicks. And you need different thought patterns if you're optimizing with limited data. Maybe you just have 10 or 20 clicks, versus if you have hundreds of clicks. Different thought patterns will impact how you optimize there as well.
Mm-hmm. Certainly. And I think, as long as you're accounting for this delay, making sure that you're looking at higher time frames when making important decisions, then this data delay shouldn't get in your way too much. I think it's pretty easy to work around other than that. If you are using our app, you don't really have to worry about this, because we do factor this stuff in. So hopefully, if there are some worried listeners out there, don't worry too much on the app side of things. But you have anything else to add, Mike?
I think we're going to try to do some more digging, some more investigation, contact our people at Amazon to learn a little bit more, because they say 12 hours, but I'm a little skeptical. As far as I'm concerned, it's still 48 until I really get double confirmation here.
I think I'm in agreement with you there. I'm
right
on board.
On. So we'd love to hear from you if you've heard anything else about this data delay, if it's changed at all, because it definitely was 48 hours, like listed at one point in time. Mm-hmm. So them saying it's 12, we're a little skeptical for some of the reasons we mentioned here, but I think that's it for this conversion delay.
Yep. If we want to hear about it too, if this conversion delay has ever actually affected your business positively or negatively in any way, guys, go ahead and reach out. We'd love to hear from you. And thanks again for listening. It really does mean a lot to us.
Have a good one. Badger out.